Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, welcome to Gamescape 3D. Today we're going to be going over our release of our gigantic cliffs. We have a lot to go over, so let's get to it. Alright, before we jump in and see how this thing is standing up, let's look at some of our smaller features. Get some of these figures out of the way. Alright, you're going to have a folder in there called Magnet Face Cliffs.
Hello.
Just you and me.
Okay.
Yeah, just you and
I'm
me.
not too late. Okay.
No. I started a minute or two early just because of
right
I had some things I had to do, so I figured I just
pops
with
right
these
off.
longer vids I can let things
After
run.
You pop it off, you can go ahead. I have
Did you catch any of that game? The game I ran yesterday afternoon? Probably
No,
not.
unfortunately not. I was out all day yesterday.
Good.
Yep.
Oh, look, it was pretty hysterical.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
So let's say you're on an adventure.
The mongrels are back and they're in the Altamira area, so there you go.
Someone
cool.
says a magic word, maybe that makes a door appear
It was fun.
in the side of a cliff for you to enter inside or whatever. So this one right next
Mike
to
never
it is
confirmed nor
another
denied he
swappable
was
one.
coming on.
So we'll see. Yep.
These things.
Hey,
Everyone
JR.
is getting mysterious these days.
Everyone's it's that type of it's summer's winding down. One more month to go before school's back, and everyone's getting a little getting in everything they can.
Simple.
It's still Gary Con.
And then
Gen Con's finishing up. What's up, Phantom?
Oh yeah. This weekend is you can't talk to anybody in there. Everybody's just sending message. Oh, where are you at Gen Con? Can we see each other? And I said, no, I'm not at Gen Con. And then I never hear a reply because they're so busy.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of those. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not at Gen Con. I'm not at Origins now.
Yep. But a
It's
surprising number of people are going to game halls, so that's
it seems like that. It seems like that.
You can see the open locks being useful in some cases. Mostly,
right away, so I don't forget that.
You'll want to use them on side-to-side connections potentially, because you will get into situations where the magnet polarity isn't set up correctly for what you want to do, and those open locks will override the magnets pushing away from each other.
Yeah, I have that issue. He talked about those magnets on some of the
material.
Some of the sets that he gave me, he wasn't aware of that, so I have some of them the walls push at each other in the corners, which is not the end of the world, but it's kind of comical.
Plexiglass, anything you got available. You could even use 1/8" material and shim it up a little bit, or double it up.
Hey, Ford.
Whatever. So there's the hardboard I'm using.
What's up, Caesar?
Okay, and these set right on top. I'll go ahead.
All right, I am like good to go. I feel like
see the front
wow.
Okay, so we got magnets all along here.
Enoch, I'll get you redone here. Hold on, I think I can do it right now.
Your board sets right in here, and you do not need to cut precisely. We got a lot of overlap coverage there, as you can see. In most cases, most spots, you're looking at up to 1 inch of coverage. So, if you're within 1/2 inch, that's gonna take care of it.
What's up, long shot?
And then we have magnets, and these things just pop right in there.
I'm gonna shout this out, guys. If you haven't signed up yet, that was the Discord.
This one here is an earlier one. You can see it deeper.
Well, it's a good place to be on here. Yeah, there you go.
For the one I'm releasing you, so you don't have so much.
We're going to be really pushing hard this week for people getting their games in and getting stuff going. So, yeah.
But if you form these things into an entire butte,
but I got a lot going on this next week, too.
A lot of surface space. So I'll trim that back a little bit.
Yeah, I've been working really hard to get my
top plates
game ready. Your commission too, the commission. But today I haven't done any commission. I've just worked on in Obsidian, getting things prepped for a game, getting rules fixed and stuff. So changes. Yep.
On this
Good
this
deal.
upper print part, so you can print these tops. I do not have that available for the swappable faces, but everything else does have that available. I also have 2 turnout corners instead of turning in, and I also have a 3-part switchback trail
Coffee's
that
good.
I will use as a painting demo
I
about the
needed
middle of the month. So that's something you got to look forward to. All right, let's flip this thing around so we can get a quick look at the back side of it.
Michael, what's up?
Okay, here we are on the back side of the cliffs. You can see the cliffs themselves provide quite a bit of support. So, you know, if your platform's only going to be 7 or 8 inches, you probably don't need any additional support. The cliffs will take care of supporting whatever platform material you set up here. But
getting it rolling, man. Trying to
14 inches
project out. I got the schedule starting to come together. Stream schedule. So,
as previously
you know, we start
mentioned,
Thursday night now, which means you can submit games
simple
Thursday night
here
if you want.
you can pop
I'm
together
on
to
Thursday,
provide you the
and I got
support
3
you
open
need
signups for game
on the
Thursday
back
night.
end of your platform.
Darling has a game that starts at 10 o'clock. Well,
The
10:30
last feature I want
Thursday
to go
night.
over
And she has
are
2 open
slotted
signups.
cliffs for
So,
allowing your
yeah, cool, man.
characters to climb
That's
up them.
awesome, Michael.
You'll have 2 of these wider cliffs,
I'm
one of the
what's up?
narrower cliffs, and one of the turns with these slots in there. And what we have here are slots every 25 millimeters. Okay, and then on this side I have slots every 50 millimeters. Maybe for creatures who are impeded by vertical climbing, you know, if you want to have a spider drop down and attack your characters while they're climbing.
Here,
like
Prodcore made their
that
goal,
gives them a
right?
little spot for
Yes,
that.
they
Now,
skew
these
it by. That
slots
was like,
are
I've never seen a
4.4
Kickstarter that was that
millimeters
close,
tall,
that
Yep.
many.
and they're
That was
slotted
like
for
the scrape
32
by,
millimeter
yeah,
bases
just by
to give you
a
a
couple of
little more room
hours.
to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was less than
most of your
24 hours.
bases
They
are gonna
funded
be
less than
between
24
Oh
hours.
three
yeah,
and
oh
6
yeah. I
millimeters
think they
tall.
had like
So in
20,000 to
most
go
cases,
that
that's gonna
last
work
day.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Well, I
just
think
fine.
someone threw in
If you
10,000
need
just to get over the
extra
threshold.
support,
I'm pretty sure that's
in the folder where
someone
these
there.
slotted
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
climbable cliffs
Oh, they
are, I
reached
have
out to a bunch of
provided a little
people.
shim you
I'm
can
just
print
amazed
out.
because they were like
And you can
50,000
just thicken
under
this
a
up if
couple
you
of,
need
like,
to. I have
Yeah.
2 days before or
I have the
something.
one included
So I was like,
at
oh,
half
this is not looking
millimeter.
good. And then they managed. So I
So
must give it to them.
Yep.
here's
They had a
probably your
shaky
thinnest base
start.
on a modern
It was
mini.
okay.
This is a
And then
D&D
it was
mini,
kind
and
of a
that's
really
a
shaky. Didn't happen
3.0
much in the middle
millimeter
for a couple of
base.
weeks, and then they
You
got
can
a
see in
really
most
strong
cases that's
finish.
just going to
Yep.
pop in there.
Absolutely.
So let me lift this up
They did a good job.
so you can see it
Yep.
a little better.
Yeah, I had my doubts
It'll
there
just
for a
slide
while
right
that,
in
oh,
there.
this
You
is
don't
not
really
good.
need to
They're
worry
not
about
going to
about
make it, but then
popping
they
out. If it
did.
is
Yeah.
a little loose in places, you can just take this little shim
Yeah, good for them.
and
Yep.
shove it in
So
there.
we'll
And
see
of
when I
course, you
get
can
my
just thicken it up on your
PDFs
build
and
plate
the
if you need
music
to.
and all that stuff. Yep.
There's that little guy. Okay, so this will make it easy to allow your characters to climb and also to
Hello, did I get
calculate
here?
fall damage. Whoops. Oh,
He
that
said
guy's
in a
fall
post
damage, of
he's looking
course.
forward to this one because he's new to GREYHAWK. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I hope that
try and help you
overview
out
is
with that.
helpful.
Yep. It's awesome. I have new people in the community.
Yeah,
So cool.
absolutely.
Yep.
He pitched this wonderful series of books to us.
And I
Yeah,
still
he called them
don't
the
know what
Gygaxian Fantasy
Steven
Books.
is
What
talking
he
about
envisioned
here.
was-
He's talking about
It's
an old
funny.
Kickstarter. He's talking about the Gary
A
the
book
Gary
for
Gygax
for
world
role
builder
players,
stuff. So
writers, game
yeah.
Yeah.
designers, the whole lot of us. That we could
That's
use in
okay.
making our games,
Does
I
that-
saw
Having
some
our
good
adventures,
pictures from
writing
Gen
stuff for
Con. They had a big
publishable
booth
content,
and
whatever.
they
Oh, yeah.
looked like the
And there was
smiles
really
looked
no
like they
ends to
were
what he
successful. So
envisioned
yeah.
this series to be.
Yeah,
We eventually
are those
peppered
smiles
it
real
with
though? I
fantasy,
mean, that is
living
that's
fantasy,
brutal
7
work. I would
volumes in
never
total.
want to work at
We
a
had
booth
another
where I had to
3
sell
I've
stuff.
done that for
print,
what is it,
another
9
3 or
Gen
4
Cons?
after
I
that
worked
to
at
get
booths.
Oh.
Yeah.
series was really open.
Yeah. It's
We are
brutal,
bringing
but it's
games
fun.
back.
I
That's
like it
what
too.
this
It's a lot of
Kickstarter
fun.
is.
The
We've got
environment
7
is
books online ready to be
ecstatic.
printed. We've got
And
another
it's so
3
cool
right after
to
that that
be
we
on
wanna
the
get it minimally
floor,
out
especially when they open the
as we're
doors the
working on it
first
in
day.
time.
That is like the
Those will be
orc
out definitely
hordes
in
coming
PDF,
in.
depending on
That's
how well
amazing.
these
Yeah,
So
go.
that's what
Maybe
yeah,
those
so
pictures
I
showed.
like
once
it.
we
Yeah,
can
so
push
I
beyond
like it. It
the
is it's
necessary
tough
stretch
work,
goals and all
but
that mess.
it's fun
But welcome to the
because
what we're
everybody's
calling
so
the Gary
there.
Gygax
People are
World
like,
Building
oh, I'm
Archives.
a Gen Con.
And
Everything
please
is
give us
awesome. So
give us
it's
some
not
support.
jaded people going around being miserable. It's people being in their best, so to speak, and having the time of their lives. So it's awesome to be there with them.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
One of the toughest is that you have to stand up usually all day, and can be noisy in there too.
No, that's true.
And it's like constantly you have to interact with someone for hours on end every day, constantly. So yeah.
Right side. Wow, man. That's all good. Maybe.
That's good, Dragahi. We need more people on the right side of the map.
Yeah, because I ain't going there.
Yeah, I've been there. I was there for like almost 10 years, and now I'm on the just over the left side of the map, so to speak. I'm on the
GREYHAWK, Shieldlands. It's all on the left side still.
Yeah, but Shieldlands is barely on the. It's on the border, on the eastern edge of the map. So yeah, but I'm thinking about moving back again. We'll see. Yeah. I had so much fun in my Real Devin campaign, so now I come up with so many cool intrigues and stuff that I want to go into again.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go up to the Barbarian lands? That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So right now it's just gonna be Anna and me tonight. If we have someone else log in, so be it. I'm not sure yet at this point. A lazy Sunday night.
Yep. But everybody's at Gen Con, so we can have a lazy Sunday
People are
night.
at Gen Con, people are, doing stuff, it's all good.
Yep. It's vacation.
Tim is back to being ever mysterious, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, his family is back again. Yeah.
Yes!
Good.
Come on a couple minutes early.
Yeah, we could. There are other things to talk about too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, I should relay some funny conversation here. If I can find it. Yeah, I found it. Don't. Oh, look at that. Gary Con live just as we come live. Gary Con, hey, good to see you all. Excellent. I mean, literally just came live this, out of the Preludes. That's good to see us. I hope you had a great, I was lurking a little bit. Hope you had a great adventure over there. Let me hit you up with some shout outs if I can frickin' find them. I got way too many shout outs on my deck now. So, but good to see you all. So tonight, Anna and I started the stream before Anna came on. I got to fix the Zoom screen because you got to fix it every damn time. Are going to talk races and species and plot hooks in GREYHAWK. So, or plot
you need
settings.
to explain this one. It seemed so interesting in it, but I'm not sure about your angle. So please.
Well, we're going to go different.
What was your thinking?
Yeah. We're going to go. Oh, by the way, the giveaway's up for Classic D&D Reprint. Please feel free. Exclamation point drawing. So there are gnomes and there are halflings and there are dwarves and there are elves and there's half elves and there's half orcs and there's half ogres. And even if you want, there may be dragonborn running around. There's drow and there's all sorts of things.
Even tieflings, maybe.
Yeah. See, what do I do? Where do I start? Right? So we all know Hamlet. We all know Saltmarsh. But if I wanted to run a Mountain Dwarf campaign, but I don't want to do it in the Lort Mills, what do I do? So that's what this discussion is going to be.
Good. Great one.
Okay.
It's a lot of home brewing for this one because there isn't that much.
Exactly. But there is some tidbits There's enough.
Exactly. Meaning you have like an embryo you can build weave from, so to speak. And yeah, you take a feather, you find the feathers are everywhere in the material, and then you can turn that into whatever you want, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's plenty of like little things mentioned. And you know me, I love, like, especially going up through the 2E books. I find a paragraph of something and then run with it.
Same here.
Sometimes I make it better and they make it worse, like the Doom Grinder. Right? Okay?
Well, yeah, that's the
And then other times it just goes away and it's never used until someone finds it. And that's what we're going to discuss. Hey, Daldawild. So, and please come up with your own suggestions in chat.
Yes.
You know, for something like, you know, maybe someone has, I know, doesn't, Mike was talking about, what's the frozen Elven City again?
Oh, in the
outside of the Green Kingdom.
Oh yeah, the bitterness.
The bitterness, yeah.
Yep.
Another cool place. There's lots of options. Yep. So we'll talk about them. But first thing, two things. Virtual GREYHAWK Con 5 is still rolling, and if you have, you know, it's $5 just to cover costs. So let me flip up this right here right now. And we're getting close to, I think, end of the month. We're gonna have signups for events. Wiley, thanks,
Hello.
Scott. We're gonna have sign up for events shortly in a couple weeks, and you know, I've been so busy with my 24-hour stream and all the other things that have gone on. I really have not started getting on people's asses. You know what I mean? Because I should, and I will start doing that. I promise this week. But I have some really cool things, and right below me is one of them. And we'll talk about it at the end too. But I got AJ Winters, Robert Hartley in my house next Monday, a week from Monday.
Wow!
Here in person playing, so that's another thing.
They're in the States again.
Yeah, they're in the States, touring the East Coast of the United States. So that's going to be really awesome. We got a lot of stuff coming up. You know, now I'm trying to find GREYHAWK Con 2024, and I can't find it. Here it is. All right, let me just throw this up. So that's wrong. Days. I should have been prepared. I'm never not prepared here. So note that the artwork is done. It's great. You can we still have T-shirts, plenty, except for the big, as I call them, the fat guy T-shirts, because they go like crazy. All the 3Xs are gone. So bitterness from the City Summer Stars and the Edgy Force consumed in the Worgen, the Tereski, your flan necromancer the Trask. So. Speaking of that, oh yeah, Dan Smith art. You can get it on a T-shirt. Well, Troy donated. I believe we're going to give it out on the Ask the Expert show at the very end of the con, and you'll have to be, in order to win, you'll have to have a ticket to Gary Con. So I'll check if you win the drawing. You have to be a registered person, but I have the original art for it. There. So there you go. Dan Smith artwork for that. Will be giving away the art. Okay. So, courtesy of Troy. Cannibal.
Yep.
Looking forward to it. So that's something that's going to be coming up. And even if you don't think you can DM something, just play in a game. Yeah, you know. So, lastly, speaking of the Euroflan. I went that direction in my game on Thursday with the headhunters, and they found. I don't want to call them stone tablets, but I made them a circular tablet out of ceramic that they put on like a wood post and they could spin it.
Okay.
Right. And so they found 3 of them, and they found the tablets. You know, they're called the Scrolls of Making and Unmaking. So they found So now they have to get them somewhere safe. So that'll be Thursday night's game. We'll talk about that because I was like, ooh. So there's a lot going on. And then if you saw yesterday's game, it was awesome. I mean, I shocked, like, Stronghold Tim. This is in Discord. So he goes, "What a hook!" And he asked me a question. Was that planned? And then he just shows a picture of his face in the box up top, and he puts "You broke me." So yes, I broke Stronghold Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Dragon that the Sumerians had them. That's what I was going for. I didn't want to make them the same old. Oh, they're scrolls and scroll tubes, or they're
We talked about that.
we talked about that Wednesday, and I changed it.
Mhm.
So I
Yep.
wanted to make it a little
That's
different.
cool.
I didn't want to make it like the Rosetta Stone or anything like that. So I figured I'd change it up a little bit. So
Yep.
these are
Mhm.
ancient Earthland texts, and they found this burial site of the Great One, whoever that was, and they found his magical falchion. I'm sorry, Kopesh. So yeah, they got that too. So we'll see. Yep. Yesterday, thanks. That was fun, wasn't it? It was a lot of fun messing with them, with bringing the mongrels of the putrid tongue from GREYHAWK over to Altamira. What could go wrong? So, all right. I love Demi. Oh, look at this. We do have a surprise guest.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's cool to know that I hit the target on that. If he can get his picture, he's blank. It's Gary Julian. No, just kidding.
Hello.
Mike's working on this.
Hey, let me try to figure this out.
Yep.
We got GREYHAWK Mike on a Sunday. Woohoo!
Yes, it's awesome.
Yes.
So good to almost see you. Yeah.
Having some fun. We'll talk. So, note I really appreciate all the support yesterday. It was a weird, Lyrag de Julian. That's funny. It was a weird time, 2 to 6 time slot, and it went late. But really, it was. There you go. Hey, Mike. Good to see you on a Sunday evening.
Yeah.
You must really be bored. Just kidding. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Or I'm just procrastinating from doing other stuff.
Well, that's a good thing too.
That's good too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Sounds like a real Franco archaeology ahead.
Yep. I'm there with you. Yep.
Yeah. So I went on the realm of off that show we had Wednesday night on books and said I'm just gonna change it up slightly just to make it cool, and it worked. And we'll continue with that on this Thursday. But demi-humans. So Mike, we're gonna just talk about like, okay, here's some ideas. Where the hell do I start with if I want to run like halflings? Right? People are like, I have no idea.
Why the heck did you start with the most?
I'm just as an example. We're not going to start with halflings.
No,
I'm saying
but they are
that's
the most
rhetorical
difficult
question.
ones. Yeah.
They're not difficult.
I think they are.
Well,
Yeah.
in my game, I got a couple halfling
good.
communities, right?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, and gnomes and stuff, and others too, and just explain how I do it, and you can decide. I love halflings. Yep,
Mhm.
we got a great halfling. Coco's got a brand new halfling, Amaris Whiteclaw. She named her second names after a drink.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I need to start getting them into my campaign more.
Yeah, some a halfling fighter cleric. So that worked. So Mike, when you're DMing or running campaigns like in GREYHAWK, do you ever focus on a demi-human location as a starting point, or is it background development for your characters that are demi-human?
That's a tall one. I can't say I've ever done something that was demi-human centric.
Okay.
Yeah, demi-humans always seem to be just on the fringes of human society, so that makes them accessible, but not my focus.
Which is okay. Good to see you, Skagith, all the way from wonderful Sweden.
Yep.
So my question back to that is, and it's no big deal if it is this way, and it is this way with a lot of people campaigns. Background gets developed in the old days as the character gets played, unlike newer days in 5th edition where it's done pages and pages of it beforehand, right? But in the old days, you had a little bit of background information, and then you developed it as you, oh, that sounds cool, as your character went. So, like for example, if you had a half elf in your game, did you say, well, it's a gray elf from Selene, it's a high elf from the Duchy? Like, did that happen, or it's a Sylvan elf from, the Grandwood, or no?
No.
Okay.
A lot of my games would start out of the city of GREYHAWK, which pretty much makes anything, again, accessible.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Now I know how I would approach that. I'm
Right.
just saying none of my players have ever approached it that way.
But that's the style that they like playing, so you don't force it on them. Right.
Right.
That's exactly it. And so what I'm going to say on this is one thing I've loved about the Greyhawk, and I think Anna, you may like this too, in all these years is no matter where your character, like when you develop a character, you don't have to have all the details fleshed out, but there is plenty of spots and little nooks and crannies and areas that you can come up with something and or you can set something in a small community of demi-humans and work out of there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Anna?
Oh yeah, definitely. And for me, the demi-humans, back in the day I loved to run a lot of especially elven campaigns and stuff, but then I felt like the elves are I was kind of semi-influenced by Tolkien, and I felt that the elves didn't have enough depth, meaning they've been around for a long time. They're even a generations or hundreds of years, meaning this needs more cultural depth and heft, so to speak. It needs to so then I stopped using demi-humans almost completely for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because I felt like I needed to develop them both mechanically and also thematically, meaning I needed to know what the elven culture were in Greyhawk and the dwarven culture, and so I concentrate on those two, and the humanoid culture. So those are the three I wanted to. The halflings and the gnomes were kind of on the sidelines. The gnomes I'm thinking about a little bit, but they can tag along with the elves and the dwarfs in a way and be a variant of them, so to speak, or at least be relevant have a relation with them or something. So I left them a little bit on the sidelines. Now after 20 years of trying to figure out what I want to do with the elves and the dwarfs, I'm starting to get there, especially the elves. So now I plan to run an elven campaign in the next 5 years, and I know what to do with them now, and it's going to be fun because I want to make them something more unique, special, with its own history that ties into, because I don't want to make something completely new. I wanted to tie into the Greyhawk stories with the Grey Elves and the High Elves and the Grugotch and the Drow and all of the elven stories we have. I just want to give it more flavor, add more mechanics to it. How long do they live and stuff like that. So now I'm planning to have a campaign that digs back 3, 4, 5,000 years of history and dig something. It will be kind of an archaeology hunt, so to speak. You have to go in and kind of poke around in old elven history and guard some of these places, because but we can go into that later. But that's been my premise. I stayed away from them because I wanted to define them better for my campaign, and now I'm starting to feel like I'm getting there. Yeah.
And for me, I always when I started, it was always, we always say left side of the map, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just here. I mean, and it's not just here, but it's here where the most development of made.
Well, demi-humans are predominantly on the left side of the map. There's way more demi-humans there than on the east side of the map, especially ones that are still thriving. The eastern map have a lot of remnants of elvendom and stuff, but not that much compared to the west side. And might be up to geography, but there's more dwarves, elves, and gnomes and others living on the left side of the map than the right.
So, for example, and I've said this a couple times, in especially a Selene discussion, in this area, 90% of the locations are from my campaign. This Selene's blank.
Yes, here. Exactly.
Completely it's almost blank.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a good side to it. You can there's more room for development then.
Well, we know you placed Bell Meadow here from we had that discussion, but and then a lot of this southern area too is all right outside Altamira, except for High Lauren and Giolite.
They are from Living Greyhawk. Stuff.
Everything else down here is mine, except Cowerwood, of course. And Mike is the one who always says, we gave him 100% credit, found it. That's actually
he found that exactly. It's
I didn't want to nitpick with Mike Schley. But Cowerwood is in the county. If you look on that map too, if you notice.
Oh,
take a look at it. It's still in that county.
But
if you look area.
Can't we do it like this? That it actually is on the left side of the river, but still in the Selene then, or something.
That's possible too.
Yeah, I don't know. Possible. Yeah, maybe we can compromise or something. So yeah. But no, hang on a second. Cowerwood is in the U-Link and not in Selene. Wasn't that the
on all the maps?
It's in Selene.
Okay, it is
Mike
in
found
Celine.
it. Mike found the
Okay.
reference. It's in Celine.
I
Okay,
don't
so
even
it's in
remember the
Celine.
reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mike did find it, and
Yeah.
and
So
yeah.
then what I'll do, I'll move the border. So the border, the eastern slope of the Lort Mills are actually in Celine. I think that makes most
Yeah.
sense. We put the city on where it is and just move the
So,
border. I think that's easy.
Here's a weirdness that in real life that supports that. You have the Delaware Bay, right? And Jersey's here, and then Delaware's here, right?
Yeah.
When they decided the borders, they said Delaware is up to the water line on this certain section of the bay.
Yeah.
Well, that receded. So they actually have this little strip of 80-foot long, 40-foot wide land on the Jersey side because of some bizarre. So it could be something like that. It could be that it's the only part in Celine that's on the other side of the jewel for some reason, right? Or it could be like an Osgiliath, actually. No one's mapped Carwood. It could be on both sides. Right? It could be like Osgiliath.
I've actually I've started to map the area. It's in on an island in the river. That's where I put it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's like a defensible place.
Well, it's a trade town.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Bree in the discussions a bit, but more elven based. So I have a lot of half elven community there. We could get into all that. But see, this is what we're talking about for discussion, is that when you get the map, the original Darlene map, you have Carwood and Enstad, and that is it. And all of Celine. There's nothing else. Right? And when you look at the rest of the maps, there's nothing. I mean, still, look at this. The duchy, the county, are still, even with all my additions over here, are still pretty devoid of anything going on. They're demi-human realms, so there's so much space. Now, the Principality was done up a lot during the Living GREYHAWK era, but I hated it all, so because it messed my campaign. But there's plenty of places to go. And besides this, there's a ton of other places to go. So why don't we pick its spots, each of us, that we want to just talk about, that we like, that has demi-human presence in it, and what hooks we could do, or what would go on, or a character you remember that came from there. Something like that. So I'll start it off. All right. How about that? So I'll go here. I'll go up to the Vespi Forest.
Oh, damn. I was stealing mine.
All right, you can go. You want to do
no,
do Vespi?
No, please,
we'll both talk about
go.
it.
Please go. Yeah.
So
I'm just kidding.
One of my favorite places for a demi-human versus humanoid, or versus evil humans versus Ayus struggle is this great land. It's huge. It's like the largest forest. It's Mirkwood sized. It's got you can count the Valley of the High Folk as well in this area. You have knighthoods. You have Knights of the High Forest. You have the Defiled Glades. You have the Beastman Forest. You have the Elven Realm of the Timeless Tree. So Korg's new character, he's got an ancient. He's got a 660-year-old Grey Elf and a Fighter Necromancer, and he comes from there. You have the Beastman Forest. You have GREYHAWK Wood Elves. So you can decide any basis for any kind of conflict you want that's going on here. Maybe it's internal with the Druids and the humanoids. Maybe it's Ayus starting to take over, like creep down the White Still Lake and take even more of the waterways. There's so much you can do in this spot. There's also indigenous orcs here. The Torture Grumsh that are allied, that hate Ayus. They're indigenous to the forest. Another cool plot point you can use, a plot hook. And we've done that. So much love in the Vespi. Yep. Anna, what would you like to addend that to, or say?
Well, yeah, this is so good, and I want to. This is thanks to Mike Bridget, because he actually made that awesome Elven map.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And there's a realm called
Taranal,
the Heartlands. I have the original here. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I don't know.
Show it again. I can show it again because it is a gorgeous piece of.
There's a PDF of it. If someone wants to throw it.
Yeah, I put it on. It's on Mike's website. He has a good sketch of it. I think I have posted it too. It's this map.
Right.
Yeah, showing all the Elven.
And Mike gave it to me, and I'm so proud of it. This is my most cherished map of all in a way. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, because it ties in so much history, and you, Mike, you really, with this map, you got my head turning, so to speak. You gave it to me. I saw it the first time like 10 years ago or something.
Because I figured you could do.
Yes, so I started doing things with it. So there is, and it's not only your map, but your map was the catalyst to get it going. The other half was something that was done for Living GREYHAWK. I think they got the detail wrong, but they got it, but they placed it on the map, and that's Kershane.
Oh,
It's an
yeah,
elven city, that they put in Perrenland because the Perrenland triad wanted to have a cool elven place or something, so they placed it in there, and I'm like, no.
Well, this is really not Perrenland. It's really in the middle, in the Klatspurs.
Yeah, but they said it belonged to Perrenland and all that, so to speak. Yeah, it's like the Rivendell of the Flannies. It's an elven place up in the mountains and water. And there is someone wrote, I forgot who wrote in the Earth Journal about the old elven mountain kingdoms. And when I took Mike's map and with the name Taranal and that the heartlands, so to speak, in from it, and Kershane and the old mountain stuff, that kind of got me spinning. And I was thinking about climate models and stuff back then. And I was like, what if Earth has ice ages from time to time, so to speak, and every few thousand years? That will be in every 2 or 3 generations of elvendom, meaning they will remember stuff like that. So they will build. So that was like that's the northern most elven outpost. They built the city that was like on the edge of the ice when it ices over. And they had many other cities further south, but they are abandoned due to drow and Sul warfare and stuff like that back in the day. And abandoned, so they are ruined in up in the mountains.
Wow!
But they had them up in the mountains because it was so hot, so that's why they built them up in the mountain. But this one they built up there for defensive purposes. So that was a place to put their crown jewels, so to speak. When it was cold, it was up in the mountains, and it was also a very defensible position up there. So that one became the surviving. Now, when the climate is nice and warm, but not too hot, that means it's a really good place to be for the foreseeable future, for a generation or two of elvendom. So they still have it as one of their hideaways up, so to speak, and there's some thousands, and it's kind of a center of elven culture and stuff up there. So I kind of tied it into place, and that's where you can find some of the oldest. Enstad is old, probably in many ways even older than Kershane, but it's less protected. It could be invaded and stuff. So there were some things they moved away from Enstad and put up a Kershane because it's much less or much more defensible. And that was one of the reasons that Igvil was after in Perrenland. She wanted to conquer that. So that was one of the reasons she took Perrenland and started fighting with them and stuff. But no one has conquered it in living memory, so to speak, living elven memory.
Well, see, this is why we love the community to participate. Blue, wow, this is Mike's map done up by Blue.
Very cool, Blue.
Wow. Yep. I appreciate you sharing this with everyone.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that was that's my take on kind of weaving with the stuff that the community and stuff have created. Meaning we've taken, it's mentioned a few lines here and there, and Mike did cool stuff with it. Other people did cool stuff, Earth Journal, Living GREYHAWK and stuff. And I just took these bits and made my layer on top of it, so to speak. And I see it as a good example what you can do in your GREYHAWK campaigns. And I'm planning to develop it further, so to speak, and have it. And now IU's is one of the ones that is after Kershane and its secrets and stuff. So that's one of the reasons he's after it. So there's still reason for the elves to be vigilant in their defenses.
This is really cool, man. Showing that all the everything here.
Yep.
Yep. So I appreciate you doing that, and now I have it. So thank you.
Yep.
Really cool. So, Mike, let me keep that up there. Thoughts on that map? Wow, that's a great.
When I did that map, I didn't have as much information as I do now.
Right.
So I think that's fantastic. You got Vecna's realm there.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
going on over
Solm.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I have that Vecna's realm cut. The Elven realm was from Vesvi all the way down to Selene. That was the original. And then Vecna cut it in half, so to speak.
Yeah.
That was part of his when the Flan uprising and Vecna, so to speak. So he
Okay, so
tore
Blue
it in
put
half.
a own dash in there with the dwarves. I mean, that's great. Like I said, there's so much new information that I could probably have updated Anne's map. I think it did that 20 years ago.
Yeah, I've known about it for well over a decade. So yeah.
And the reason I made that map was I was trying to do an all Elven campaign. Hey. And for some reason I decided it would be more fun to do it in a different time period. And can't remember how far we got, but it was supposed to be pretty epic.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, Blue. Thank you. So, Blue, if this is dwarves, shouldn't there be dwarves up here? Isn't there a dwarven kingdom up here too? Not Exag, but
Blackhammer.
Blackhammer. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, you may. Yeah, but I don't know if that's. Yeah, it's a great map. Great map.
Blackhammer Vale. It's in the It's another
if
one.
we're talking about.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say it's a late edition. It's a Living Greyhawk edition, if I remember correctly. So, but I still like it. It's a good location. I like the name, and it's
all right.
good.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Hey, that's it. So none of us, and that's why we have these shows. None of us knows everything about Greyhawk, nor will ever. I mean, Sam and Les get close, right?
Yeah, there's
yes.
they get close.
Man, they get close, but they're not all there either, man.
I think a majority of that the map that I made was based off of the Orth Journal timelines.
Okay. Excellent. No, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And now I got the second one too. So yeah, it's really cool. Awesome. So hopefully I didn't close out this map. No, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can mention a little bit about what I've done with the elves mechanically to tie into this discussion, because not only did I want to develop the history and the place names and stuff, I also wanted to tie it in mechanically. So, and I wanted the elves to be a bit more different. And we have the stories about the Drow, the High Elves, we have the Grugach, we have the Grey Elves and stuff. And I wanted to tie the elves more into the Fae. So the elves are humanoids that somehow got tangled up in the Fae many thousands, maybe hundreds, or a long time back in history. They were early humanoids that got tangled up in the Fae and then started develop into things like gnomes and elves and so on. And then these Fae creatures came back and became the elves. But then slowly over time, they started to lose their Fae connection, because they started to become normal earthlings and live on the prime material plane. But in order to, so elves are that Drow took a different route. They became demonic cultists and stuff. That changed them physically. So over time, they became different than the normal elves. But all the other elves, the high elves, the Grugach, the wild elves and stuff, they are just elves, and they are born elves and so on. But then, if they keep their faith to the Seldarin, the good elven gods and stuff, Corellon and so on and so forth, if they stay true to them, then when they get older, that means that they can get reattached back in with the Fae again. And in order to live forever, so if you do it, then you can go through a ritual, become middle-aged, so to speak, as an elf when you're like 200-300 years old, and then you can become a gray elf. And then you become a Fae creature, and you can live on, and then you will fade away into old age at 1,000 or so, and you basically live forever as a gray elf. But you become a Fae creature, and you slowly over the centuries you fade away into the Fae, and you get powers and stuff. So I wanted to change them mechanically, but and some of the wild elves and others, they can also turn gray if they want to. and become fey creatures if they want to. Not all do. We have examples of elves that abandon that faith and simply say, no, I'm just going to go out in the world. And Keek, for instance, he starts serving Ayus, and that means that he will be an abandoned elf. He will stay elf and then die because he will not become fey creature. That's my kind of tie it in both thematically and mechanically into it, so to speak. So for my rule system, I will develop elves that way. So you can kind of, and that changes what essence you have, meaning humans and others are soul creatures, but elves, fae, and stuff are spirit creatures, and that means different things. You live and die differently, and you can things affects you differently. That's why elves are they have resistant to enchantments. That's because they are spirit creatures, and they have a little bit of that spirit in them, even when they're born normal, so to speak. And then they lose their soul and become full spirit creatures when they get older. That's why they're immune to a lot of mind magic, but they can be summoned and stuff instead. Humans are the other way around. They're affected by enchantments, but summonings don't work on them. So it's a trade-off one way or the other. So yeah.
And Anna knows I don't agree with her. So
no,
oh shoot! I hit the wrong button. Sorry. Man, God, I'm sorry. And it's your take, which is awesome. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's up to what you like to do in your game, and that's what
absolutely.
I think this discussion should kind of concentrate on. Meaning, what you want for your campaign is different from what I want for my campaign.
100%. And I'll give you an example of why I think if you do that, you lose the flavor of some of the things that have been placed in GREYHAWK. And I'll give you an example. If you go to the From the Ashes box set, so let's bring that up. And Mike, please, if I'm babbling or Anna and I are going too much, and
I've been babbling so much, so you have
holding you out of the conversation, please say it's my turn.
Okay.
Because we want to definitely get I really appreciate you coming on here. So let me let's see. No, we gotta go back this way. So the one thing that I and there's some pictures of the Fae. Here we're getting here. Is there is rich here the gnarly forest, for example, and it's mostly in. And this is where I think. A lot of I don't agree at all with going off to the frickin' Lendor Isle stuff that he did, right?
No, exactly. I agree. That's not
that's just wacky. But he did some wonderful development in the gnarly forest in the clans. Here we are, the clans of the Sylvan Elves, right? And so he talks about each of them and how they're different and. I just, and here on your map here, you have the clans all right about here, and they sometimes get along, they sometimes don't. These Sylvan Elves don't get along with the Grey Elves. They don't like them because they think the Grey Elves are all haughty. They're reclusive, they're clannish, they're tribal, right?
Yeah. How I've done it is that the Grey Elves are the ones that are the politicians in Selene. They are the ruling class. And that's why a lot of these kind of country folks out there think, oh, these old farts, they think they know everything and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. The usual stuff that the fringes against the center, so to speak.
Understood.
Once you have people in that lives in big cities and make decisions that affect people out in the countryside, they get grumpy and it's everywhere. So it's so cool to see that you can have that in Elven culture too.
Absolutely, but I think that these Sylvan Elves here, for example, because and you'll see this in my adventure on Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, Clan. I can't even say it right. Enlar Raphel are the Guardians of Oakvein, which is a legendary site. Sylvan Elves. I think that the Sylvan Elves in this are most in tune with the old faith and the Flan. And they respect that, and I'm talking about the more benevolent side of the Flan, not the Urflan, right? And so,
and that's interesting because you have that Flan Elven connection,
right?
I think is really cool. That is old
with the Sylvan Elves, and I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Anyone, please, if you don't agree with me, just say, hey, I respect everyone's opinion here. I think it's the same with the Wood Elves up here. with the old faith, this is like ancient lands up here in this area of
the term wood elf, I would say that's derogatory seen from an elven perspective.
Right,
That's what
Sylvan.
the Great Kingdom people and stuff, Origians called them. Oh, these are the damn wood elves that live in trees up there, so to speak. And so that's if someone's sitting in Rossi's and imagine, oh, these are the wood elves, these are whatever, that's not what the elves see as themselves, so to speak.
Thanks, Patrick.
So I love those terms.
Okay.
But from an elven perspective, in-camp perspective, then it's derogatory. But because that's what the Great Kingdom folks and stuff like that will say. Fine folks in Great Kingdom and others, Airdians and others, they and probably even the Baklunish and others, they will say that, oh, some of them are like high and wood and whatever.
Okay.
So
but
the clan
supposed
names
to be Sylvan elves?
They are wood elves are Sylvan elves. So it's Sylvan elf, I think, in the original Monster Manual.
I think so, yeah. But I also see a lot of those terms are the conquerors' terms, so to speak.
Sure.
But the clan names, I really like them from the Ashes. Those clans I love those names too, because they are the clans and the groups that the elves themselves refer themselves to, so to speak. Yeah.
But I don't see any of them aspiring to become gray elves, is what my point is. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give you an example in Tolkien lore.
Yeah.
What an equivalent would be. At the end of the Third Age, Elrond and all the remaining elves and Lothlorien and all that start leaving, but Mirkwood elves stay because they see this that is their home. So and I think that's where the Sylvan elf thing came from, wood elf, because they were a different type of elf as the high elves of Lothlorien, right, or Lorien. So I think it's kind of similar here, where these elves here, they stick to their ancestral lands, they stick to protecting the gnarly forest. I just love it. So yeah,
and I would have that they go gray in that sense that they embrace their fadum, but I can have it that they do it earlier, so to speak. They're not waiting until as long as the ones in Selene or something. They might do it earlier, and shamans and others, or meaning their priests and stuff, might do it very early. They might get 150 or do it quickly in order to be more powerful spellcasters and stuff. So it's not like they fade away immediately. They fade away over a millennia or something after they go gray, so to speak. But and also go gray, that's something that others, outsiders, will call them, not with the elves themselves, meaning the queen herself, she and Melf, I have them as gray elves in that sense, because they're old enough and part of their ruling class, but they're still very much active and probably will be for several hundred years.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, they're gone, so to speak, but they are on the path to be becoming. It's a long path. So if you play an elven character in my campaign, you can play one that has become Fey and embrace their spirits, and that means that you will get a lot of benefits, but there will be some negatives as well, so to speak. So both risky and interesting. So it's like a mechanical shift. You're like a new race in that sense. Yeah.
So, Mike, a question for you: when you have your players play an elf, do they differentiate between gray, high, sylvan in your campaign?
I think at one time maybe we were more into that back in 2E and 3 when we were more interested in our backstories and developing them. I can't really recall last time I made the distinction.
Are elves just elves in GREYHAWK 5e?
I think so.
No, they're not. Okay.
No, we don't know. We don't know yet.
I know we don't know. I'm just okay.
Yeah, we don't have any official races for GREYHAWK.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
it's just that the default player character elf is a high elf.
A high elf, true. That's true.
So
that's the default. According
a high elf could be a noble, but a high elf could also just as well be a rustic forest dweller.
Yeah. What do you have the term high elf coming from? Do you have you spun up? Yeah.
To the absolutely low elves, right?
Yeah. I have it simply as that the old Flan and the Sul and others, they call them the high elves because they used to live in mountain strongholds. And that's why they were called high elves back then. And then the term stuck. And in those cultures, they became, and then when the Airdy came, they just heard the Flan talk about the High Elves and who lived in their towers and stuff, and the term stuck.
I think the High Elves, you might be onto something, but I think High Elves are the ones that are not reclusive and are hidden in the woods. You'll never find them like the Sylvan Elves or the GREYHAWK. I think that's the difference. I think it's a human-based term. I agree.
Yeah,
but it's like they're the ones that, all right, well, at least negotiate with humans, or at least
Well, to me, it's a term that humans use on elves, and some elves are clan whatever, so and so clan, or so and so. Some of them might be very urbanized, secular, and say I'm just an elf living in Instead, and or by be clan from so and so or whatever. So even the gray elves aren't. That's not something they define themselves by as they have. I'm still trying to define, because I want to come up with cool, like I'm a clan so and so. I'm a profession so and so. I'm still on the fence. I don't know how I'm still working with how the elves are defined from the outside.
Well, that's where I differentiate.
Yeah, I want to think out how they define themselves. That's where I'm in the early. I'm not done with that part yet. I'm still in the early part of that.
I think I nailed that, Anna, because I have that it's they have their noble and lesser estates, and they all are of house whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I like for the Grey Elves that talk that way, and the High Elves talk more in. I mean, the Sylvan Elves talk more in clan. They're from this clan, or from Clan Philifel. That's the way I see it in my game.
I love your house and stuff. And the thing is, I would not mix them up with the High and the Gray and stuff, because those are and wood and stuff, those are the outside terms.
Right, I got it.
People who don't know the elven stuff, they call themselves, these are woods.
We're talking about Selene only.
Okay.
We're talking about within Selene's borders only.
Yeah.
An elf from the Duchy of Ulick does not, because I haven't developed it. It may be that way, but I haven't developed it.
So you don't have. I have more of a more universal elven culture, because when the generations are so long, they maintain cultural bonds that are stronger over both time and space, and a lot of them are spellcasters and stuff. So I have it that most elves in their lifetimes, they have visited other realms like Vesvi and Sundi and stuff like that. So the elves have connections, both family and culture and mercantile bands and stuff, connections. So they are much more connected, and I want to have the same thing for the dwarves. Much more. Humans, they say, oh, we live in this little country and we don't know nothing of people over there. But elves, if you have 1,000-year generations, cultural change is going to happen way slower than if you have 25, 30, 40, 50-year generations. And so therefore I wanted to play with these things and say, okay, what if a lot of elves actually live 500 years or longer? How would that change society? And I would have them that they are culturally conservatives, so to speak, very much. They hold on to old stuff, and they remember who was alive 2,000 years ago and stuff that humans can't even perceive that long.
That is the great literary issue with GREYHAWK writing. And I've said this 100 times, and Sam will back me up. There is only one elf in all of noted writing that's over 500 years old. One. So why is that? They don't even have Yolande as over 500 years old. Her age is not really even known. But
exactly.
But the head of the Lands of the Timeless Tree is the only one. Everyone else is 200, 300, which is a snap in time. So there's a disconnect there that's not thought about.
We don't know much about the elves.
Right. I think they all were killed off in wars. That's my thought. In the Hateful Wars and all the other, and the expansion of all the humans, and that's my thought. But what do you think, Mike?
I just think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. There's enough wars you could attribute it to that they wore down, and
I think that's part of it. But I think also, first of all, what we know of Elvendom is what the Prophet Smedgar the Elder wrote 993 from Relmord or Rossis or wherever he was writing. So probably Relmord, because Rossis is destroyed. But if you go by that from the Ashes timeline, but so there is so much room for, and so I that's one reason, meaning elves were not wiped out, but they were decimated in war. And the other reason is they got invaded and threatened, meaning they don't give away too much to the enemy. If you're beleaguered and besieged and invaded, they probably, it's like, take how much do the average American or like the average Swede knows about Samic culture or Celtic culture or something. Not much. The average European don't know much about old stuff like that. And most Americans today don't know that much about Native American culture back in the day, because we live in the main society, and those fringes live their own life. That's how I see elves in that sense. And I see that elves do it on purpose a lot. They hide a lot of that secret and only talk to other elves because they don't want the others to know about it. So it's like, and also it's a fantasy city, meaning a fantasy culture, meaning if you live in GREYHAWK, you might even know what happens 100 miles away. And only the kings and the rulers and a few others, they know. And that's why Mordenkainen and others have to go out on adventures to actually find out what's happening. So to actually find out what's happening could be a great idea for an adventure too. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the demi-human stuff in this area doesn't make any sense time-wise or
exactly. Yeah.
So
and it's just neglected. That's the sad part.
Which is okay, and that's why I've gone my direction. I've gone hers. A lot of people
exactly. That's why we can build on it. We can take these little feathers and build whole chicken coops from it. Yeah.
So how old's the Duke of Ulick and it's unknown, and I'm going to tell you, Blue. It's a great question, but
yeah,
I leave things. I know I have it down somewhere in one of my old folders, but my guess is he was no more than 300-400 years old, because once again, going back to those hateful wars, and Tommy Kelly did a great, if you haven't read them, remember I did that entire 24-hour stream of going back. If you haven't read his book, he'll talk about, like, they're negotiating, Selene sends the envoys of the Prince Treseren, and this is the first scenario I did, out to all the locations in Tringley and wherever, and to Valuna and to Germra and everywhere else, to get them to kick the doors out of the Alliance. And then all hell breaks loose after the Prince gets killed. So it's unknown, and it's not, if something doesn't need to be developed in my campaign because it doesn't matter, I'm not going to micromanage everything. I'm not going to say, oh, this guy, is this age, because it doesn't matter to me in the campaign. Yeah, well, that Duke may be dead. I mean, the Duke, the Duke that was in the wars with, there's no detail on it. There's no detail on that at all. All we know is Prince Treseren led the forces against Keeland. That's all we know. So, yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. But I see
it's part of the strength of GREYHAWK. We only know a little bit. The rest we can fill in. Yeah. And then we can kind of denounce Carl Sargent. One of his few flaws was the way he treated the elves, I think. Yeah.
Johnny, sorry about that. I put them back on because I was told I should by someone uppity, especially being a partner. Uppity, so I had to put them back on for the time being. Sorry about that. But look at it this way.
Should we go pausing when?
No, because I don't keep track of when they're every 30 minutes for like a minute and a half. So sorry about that. My apologies. I try, and almost everyone subbed. So my apologies for doing that. So all right, we'll get out. Hey, darling. Darling's remoting in and playing with Robert and AJ a week from Monday, by the way. So just know she'll have some fun. Other areas for elves, since we're on the elves, is there's a huge elven presence, and this is where the Fae is most active, right? Eric Mengi and Jose Ortiz, they all did all this out in this area. A lot of Sylvan elves and Grey elves out here too. So this is, you have Geoff where you can do a lot of things.
Yeah, those poor elves were hit hard, but they have an old presence too, but they were hit by first the Kiewish coming in, or like the Keoland Empire being formed, and then they were hit by giants and others from the mountains and stuff. So they have kind of suffered quite a bit. So there's not much elvendom left. But on the other hand, that's kind of cool because you can do stuff with it, elven ruins. But there's a little bit of there's some guards left. They're still guarding their ancient sites and stuff. And you have Vale of the Mage, or Valley of the Mage, which is another thing that you can tie into elvendom if you want to. Yeah.
Jeff is a common name in the UK. Probably Geoff Jeff. It's named after. It's not Jeff Perrin, is it? I forget who was.
No, I
named
think
after.
Perrinland is after Jeff Perrin. But maybe Geoff is named after him too. I'm not sure about that part, but I know Perrinland is after Jeff Perrin.
So.
Yep, more elven.
Coming out here. Let's talk about this whole area.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? So.
It's a very interesting area.
Yeah. Because I just, besides Malden, this is like the greatest lands of dwarfs, right?
Well, it's the only dwarven realm named in the box set and the folio. I think it's named in the folio too, but it's named in the box set and
Principality too.
Iron Kingdom, Kingdom of Iron Hills. It's the only elven, and it's not listed as its own realm, but it's mentioned, which is cool.
It's given a population,
right? Yeah, so
it's cool
because you got the entire Free City of Iron Gate, which is
kind of that seems to tie into each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have the Iron Hills. It's just it has that feel of, my gosh, I'd love to, I want to adventure out here and do something dwarven based, but it seems like there's a lot of, like, I don't know, Dennis really loved writing up this stuff, but how many people have actually done adventuring out here? I don't know if that many people.
I've done in my Rel Devon campaign. We were in the vicinity, a bit north of, especially in Ellis and stuff. And I need to David Leonard's blog. I'm going to put a link to it because he done. If you go back some posts like 30, 40, because he's posted so much awesome stuff. But there is a history of the Grey Kingdom in there, and that covers this area. He done an amazing job at meaning we have so much ancient history from the old Flan, Elissa, the kingdom of Elissa, or Elissa under the Queen Elissa and stuff back in the day. We have Thaland and all the early stuff giving rise to Erde and then Great Kingdom eventually. Meaning they're 1,000 year of history, full of awesome history, battles, people, Leuk-U, and there's tons of cool GREYHAWK history that is often it's so underused and it's so awesome, and it's a history almost, it feels as rich as Tolkien's history, and it's just amazing, and it's there. You can Yeah, and there I have probably about 30 places on that I need to place on the map from those histories, old ruins and stuff. We have and old kingdoms, and there's so much stuff, Medigia and stuff. That's another empty spot on the map, but it's so full of rich history. That's like the Vatican, like the papal estates and stuff like that. It's that rich of story, Rel Astra and stuff. That is just in the later stuff, it's just like a little footnote in the stories. But there was actually, those were the Rel Astra was the capital of the great burgeoning Great Kingdom. It was large area. Medigia was full of the Hextorians, Heronians, the Kingdom of Thaland. That's where a lot of the GREYHAWK was invented, culture-wise and stuff, comes from this area. And there were battles hard fought over Rel Devon, Medigia, and stuff like that. These were areas where if you want to run a kind of a Game of Thrones like campaign, go back to those days and fight it out over the old stuff, so to speak. It's amazing. There's so much rich history that I'm just like blown away how cool this area is.
If someone told me you're not allowed to play on the western side of the map ever again. Oh, there you go. Now Dragon here. You don't have to worry. Thanks, Patrick. You're set. Set for a month. You don't have you won't have to get ads. This is where I'd pick, because you got GREYHAWK. So I have some of the major houses of Selene, in particular Tellerin, which is one of the Walt's characters, Britomart's family. Their cousins are in Sundee. They're Grey Elves in Sundee. So so that's a connection there. And ID has halfling communities. The Iron Hills have dwarves. I mean, there's got to be some gnome communities around here. You have almost everything you need, and humans. You have a good basis for, and I'm not a fan of the Scarlet Brotherhood. all.
No, but they are cool. In this area, they make sense because they are next
Yeah, oh,
door big
absolutely.
power,
Yeah.
so to speak. So in this area,
Yeah.
they makes a lot.
That's
That
true.
they're over,
Yeah.
way over on the west side of the map, it doesn't make sense. But here, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That the Sul, the remnants of the Sul Empire are still empirical in their mindset and try to influence their neighbors by doing that. That makes a lot of sense. And Sundi is also a great place for half elves to come from because you have an elven human intermix culture, kind of mixed culture that has been around for well over a millennium, so to speak, of human, or by 2,000 years of human elven interaction and together. So it's a great area if you want to have a half elven character can come from Sundi.
Yeah, I don't know what you're smoking there. You got to put some salt in that there, Patrick. It's Scarborough. It's not rock. I know you're busting my stones. So,
yeah.
Mike, any love for this area here? Any?
Well, Anna was kind of dancing around there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
How about
I get excited.
I do admire the Grandwood.
Oh, okay.
That you can pretty much do a Robin Hood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That kind of writes itself.
Yep. Even the Undying have some cool characters. You have a gold dragon named Aruma and some other characters you can take from there if you want to have official NPCs. And you have the Overking's hunting lands are in the western part of the Grandwood and stuff. So yeah.
So I noticed on the map that you did and then that Blue did that it was tighter, but this area was not connected. These two forests. Thoughts on that?
Well, back in the day, I think most of this was forest. It's like Europe. But back in the days, temperate areas naturally are covered in forests until someone cuts it down and cultivates the land and stuff like that. On Earth, almost all, meaning the whole temperate part of North America and Eurasia was covered in forests if you go back 50,000 years ago. And then Mediterranean was full of cedar forest and stuff like that until it was cut down in back in the Stone and Bronze Age and stuff. So and in there's much lower population density on Earth even to this day. So that means that there are more of these forests still left. And maybe they love their forest more, and elves and others might have been less keen on cutting them down than humans were. But I think that the Empire, Great Kingdom, probably wanted it for their population started to grow, so they started cutting down. So I think that Granwood, Gamboge, and Adri was one big forest, and back in the day, so to speak, and the Thelwood and the Bonewood later and stuff, and the me and Rio Wood and stuff, they were all connected. There was like a huge forest area back in the day, and then that because it's been settled for several thousand years, so there's been plenty of time to cut down the trees and cultivate the land. And there are other
correct, but all noting is in that ancient elven map, it's not connected. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so to answer that, like I said, I was going off the Earth Journal timelines, and I was working with the existing landforms as they were. There was supposed to be something like 4 Elven kingdoms and however many Elven cities. So I was more concerned with placing those than trying to rewind.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. It's
erosion of the things.
Yeah, and Blue Rugby, you have a good question. Forest at all altitudes. Yeah, not to all, because there is now we're talking real world. In the fantasy world, you can go either way, but in the real world, it gets too cold and too thin of an atmosphere, especially too cold and windy when you go above a certain level. And the further north you go, the lower is the tree line. And in the Mediterranean and the Alps, you can go up to probably well over 6,000 feet, and there's still trees and forest. And here in Southern California, it's like 8,000 feet or so. That's the tree line. But if you go to Alaska or northern Scandinavia, the tree line is so low that eventually the tree line hits the sea level, and that's where you get tundra. So even here in Southern California, there is tundra way up on the top mountain peaks are Arctic. So they are above the tree line. And then the tree line recedes as the colder the climate goes, the lower the tree line is. And then you have different types of forests. So at the tree line, you have small, tiny conifers that live forever. And here in Southern California, they have these old pine trees that are some of the oldest trees on Earth. They're only 10 feet tall, or maybe a few feet tall. So eventually the trees get smaller and smaller, and then they disappear altogether.
Huh.
And then you have different species. That first you have the hardy conifers, and then you get more of the hardy oaks and stuff. And then eventually you get the old type of trees, and then you dominate with deciduous trees at lower levels. So it's
Patrick.
yeah, it goes up. But in fairness, I want to have GREYHAWK functioning roughly the same way, that it gets too cold, too high up, and too far north, and then eventually the trees kind of diminish and becomes nothing, so to speak.
So getting back to Mike's point here on Patrick, you don't have to do that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. This area, you have only two references that I know of. You have Vivid the Undying, right? And you have Carlos Lysing's The Nine, right? And that's it. I know Vivid the Undying. For that to say that's it's kind of an understatement, because there's so much in that. But like, once again, it's like, wow, there's so much open space, and you got your, you know. I'd love to know more about the elves here in the Grand Wood, or you know, if there are some kind of, like, you know, gnomes in these hills and they're sailors or whatever, you know, something cool like that. Maybe that exists.
There
you know,
was a battle set there.
Yeah.
The Battle of Geru's Folly was set in Grandwood Forest. It's where the outlaw elves and humans take out Medicean army.
Okay.
They lead them into a trap.
Yeah.
That's in the pages of Dragon magazine.
So is that just like in the movie with Orlando Bloom, where they run the Christian army all around out there, and then
that's a fantastic movie.
Kind of like that too.
I forgot what the name was. It was when he was a Crusader. Kingdom of Heaven. Yeah. Oh, the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is a superb movie.
It is.
And Blue Rugby, you this is you trigger my nerdiness so much. And that's so cool, because that's what happens when the inland ice shelf, when it scrapes off the ground, it takes a lot of the soil with it.
Right.
So that means that the whole areas that are just scraped bare, so hardly anything grows. And also in some of the valleys, that it leaves all the little boulders and stuff, so you get these moraines that are just full of boulders in large areas, and you have them in Alaska, Northern America, Northern Europe, and Asia. There are all of these areas that are full of these moraine, and some areas that are just scraped by it. You see it in Yosemite and stuff. These granite mountains that are just scraped bare.
Oh, nice,
and stuff.
Mike.
So yeah.
Let me see if I can get to this.
So that means that there are a lot of areas that don't have forest, because there's not enough soil for the trees to grow in. So yeah.
All right,
but they regrow over millennia. They regrow. So wait a few thousand years, and there will be enough soil that will have formed and been dragged there and stuff. So
look at that, Mike. Mike steps up big. There we go.
Awesome.
All right, that's cool. Very cool. What's the time frame on this? From the Ashes, right?
It's
GREYHAWK Wars.
Yeah, that's GREYHAWK Wars, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, Garu's Folly.
This is historical. This is
578. So this is
awesome.
Yeah, this is early, man. It's pre-wars.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. So, look, roughly 1,000 Sylvan Elves and Allied Woodsmen suddenly advanced in the camp. So you are, it's a lot of Sylvan Elves in here, it appears. Yeah. Okay. All right. Dale, any reproduction of this, Dale? Sure. Any references to all this stuff going on in your campaign? Just checking. Pre-wars Medici is very wild. It sounds like it, and then it gets obliterated.
Yeah.
Too much got obliterated. And that's one of the things.
So much politics and religion and intrigue and imperial power and power games and stuff. So yeah.
Excellent, Mike. Great one. And look, and it's Rob Kuntz. If I ever risk having him on again, Dragon 63
Right.
is a discussion.
That's
So
rough.
yeah. Perfect. Well, there you go. You got some good stuff here that you can utilize. So I don't know where it is, but I have it in a pile somewhere. But Carlos Lysing's The 9 is out here, which is an outpost that's like the last one that's that's active.
Yeah, we placed it somewhere. Where
Yeah,
was that?
I think in the Sea of Medivh border with the Great Kingdom. So
we have Dornaland.
Bulwark is that it? Bulwark on the map. Well, it may not be on my map.
No, but it might be somewhere.
Dale said Bulwark is the name of it. I don't know if you updated it on yours.
At least we've talked about it, so I think it might be.
May need to be added.
It might, because I have a list of over 100 things that I'm putting on the new
cool, man.
GIS version. Yep.
Well, that's awesome. So there you go, an area where you're using the Sylvan Elves again in the Grand Wood, which is cool. So thanks for bringing that up, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah, Iradian line of retreat, Rebel line of advance. So basically, the Rebels pushed their asses out, huh?
I'd have to go back and read it.
Which is
but
good.
It's all spelled out there. It's
a
pretty detailed article, and all I really did was put a map to it.
Nice. Whew. This is a tidbit that you would not know about if you were new to GREYHAWK, and you did not know about these events of the Eastern and Southern Flaness articles that appeared in Dragon magazine, and we're talking pre-100, from like 50 to 70.
Yeah, he had these news updates, like news bulletins from the campaign.
And it's mostly Rob Kuntz. Gary's writing some, but it's mostly Rob Kuntz.
Yeah, right. I think Gary wrote the first ones, and then Rob kind of took over the reign on that.
And there's only like 5 of them.
Oh, but we have to say Joe Block wrote more of them, and just the style of
he did.
Yep.
But they're not published source.
No, they're not. But they are equally really.
Absolutely.
Really good. So
So a great one there. Look at this. We're talking. Is GREYHAWK alive or undead? Oh, Mike, that's in 2022.
It might be the season of undead for a bit. Yeah. You say it's dead, you're never going to do it again, and then
across the streams
you get inspired, and there's some new cool posts coming.
Yeah, Bulwarker's in the northern part of Medivh. That's what I thought. Somewhere up here.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yep. Cool. Okay. All right, let's get off elves for a bit. How's that? How about that? Where are my halflings? Where are halflings? Give me 2 places you can pluck a halfling from in GREYHAWK. Yes.
I think they need to live in fairly civilized quiet areas, because they are not that warlike, so they can't defend their own country. They're piggybacking on others. So Elven realms will be one, and also I think countries like the Ernsts and Furundi and Niron and stuff that are fairly stable, been around. They can kind of carve out their little stuff. And
Patrick,
that
that's not funny. There's a Dragon magazine article about the Keebler elves.
The Keebler elves?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Keebler elves. They're guarding the cookie recipes, and they're all evil, by the way, in that article.
Oh, okay.
Someone go find the dragon. I bet you Sam knows exactly where it is. But there's a Keebler elf one. Hey, Tim. So, Tim, tell everyone how I broke you yesterday. That was awesome. He was the new junior got away. So, good to see you, man. I think I have my shout out for you up here. So, Elmshire's one. Places that we know of where we can actually go. Good Hills is another one. Which is, where the hell is it? It's right here, isn't it? Here it is. The Good Hills. There's another area. A lot of this is all either gnomish or halfling. So you got gnomes here too. Cron Hills is another one.
Yeah. I think County of Ernst, the Broughton area, or Broughton, or however you pronounce it, in the center area, Count Markham and Appleby. That's one of the places that
Oh my
I think
God.
those are halfling rich areas too. From if I remember from the
what's the halfling population in Ernst? It's probably like 10,000, 20,000.
They usually like 3%, so
Okay.
that a few thousand, yeah.
But a big place is the county of Ulick, and you'd never know it, right? Because it's just not talked about.
No, but it's elven and stable and
County Hook's not
good-hearted, so
elven.
they make. No, but they're elven inspired, so to speak.
It's halfling, gnome, and human.
Okay.
Yep. There's no elves, very few elves in the county of Ulick. And that was the weird thing that didn't make much sense, but
no, but they made one for each of them.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
I kind of
Yeah.
But
I know. Look at that, Keith. 70 stream streak. That is insane. Oh my gosh, Keith. That's the biggest I've ever seen on any channel ever. Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go into and here, we'll let me bring this up. If I can find it, because you know me, I'm like, oh, I have it right here, and then I can never find anything right off the tip of my tongue here. Let's go to the original, boom boom, and then GREYHAWK box world of. Here we go. Okay, there we go. And this is where a lot of things. I don't think the things were well thought out back in the day, right? And then we had to figure it out for ourselves. So yeah, Prince Valley Ulick. Here, you know, dwarves, 27,000 dwarves. It says gnomes and halflings. Okay, so we got some there, but no population of them, right? Willie, thank you. Oh, thanks, Patrick, for doing that for Willie. Duchy Ulick, elves, lots of elves. 12,000 silver, 4,000. They're probably up populations. They're low too. And then we go to the county Ulick. Look at that. Gnomes, halflings. It says others, but that doesn't. That's it. And a lot of humans.
It doesn't make sense thematically and geographically.
Correct.
I'm looking into the Living GREYHAWK asset here because I like that one. They has more corrected stuff.
So, but it does say here, since the humanoid tribes have been driven out of the Lord Mills, the land has enjoyed considerable prosperity. Its troops are mixed human and demi-human companies. Yeah. Cavalry is solely human. Light infantry missile troops are typically gnome and halfling companies. So this is where. Yeah, exactly. Take the red pill. What's up, Dwayne? So for me, when I saw this, I wanted to. Now we know Carlos developed gnomes here. His honor to the Magnificent Seven are all gnome monks, right? 7 of them in his 2 adventures, correct? So we know Carlos has done gnomes. I'm doing halflings. I'm starting to build out some areas. And one of them is right here, and this is Happy Springs. And what I'm doing is in my games in the Altamir Adventures, I'm trying to get as many halflings as I can to come from this community, so I can use it kind of like Elmshire over in GREYHAWK. So Rosie Applebottom, there we go. Yeah, see, Rosie Applebottom's from Happy Springs. Coco's brand new character, Amaris Whiteclaw, is from Happy Springs. So we're starting to get some of those in this area here. And that I just made it out of the blue. Put it in the map, and now it's here. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't have any gnomish communities around here. I don't. But there's got to be gnomes in these hills. So, yeah. That's the great thing about take the map and darling, yep, take the map and put it in wherever you want. Mm-hmm. Put the things in and add them in. So Crown Hills are huge for, I'd say, out of all the areas are probably gnomes. This is the top spot for gnomes in my area of the map. Good Hill's probably 2. Also, are a lot of gnomes here, correct? Out near. Oh
yeah, the Flinty Hills and stuff.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Flinty Hills. Flinty Hills are really big with gnomes. Mm-hmm. So. Yes. So let's go back there, Will. See something, and Will's on in chat. Something that Will did. If you go to his recent publication, Will link it if you so choose, please. Right. right about here is his latest publication, which find it and link it. Yep. Which I adventured in when Will DM'd on my channel. Oh my God, I don't even know where it is. I got so much shit everywhere now. So Will's Gnomes of the Bone March was awesome too. So there you go. Another thing adding in. He did. Halflings would not fare well in the march. No, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. But I kind of like it that they have their own indigenous area here. And oh my God, what was the name of the book? Well, what's the name of the book? So I can just I'll bring it up real quick. Oh my God, anyone remember? Will, help me. Willow Isle. Hold on. Thank you. Here we go. Thanks. So Will did this all up. This is a free download. Is it a free download? It may not be. I don't remember. Yep. So and this takes place. Yeah, it's got to be because it's called the AI art. Yeah. So this takes place not far from Vecna's ruined towers. It's in the Rushmores. That's right, Rushmores. A created halfling place out of Will's mind, right? Completely out of Will's mind. Oh, I'm going to do this here with great artwork and great storylines and great character classes. It's in 3rd edition and it's in 1st edition OSR and 5th edition as well. So have fun with it. There you go. Yep. So there you go. Really a cool thing. Halflings are cool. We had a whole halfling group a couple months ago where Will DM'd on the channel, and we had a lot of fun with it. So that's BB. Will can answer that question. My guess is no. Remember, halflings tend to be recent to the area, just like in they just magically appear in Lord of the Rings, if you noticed, in Middle Earth. And they're there now. So, yep. Will, what about that question? Were they there when Fleef was around? My guess is probably not. Probably not. But remember, Fleef is all the way up here. Fleef's here. It's kind of far distance. But the Rotted Tower is there. So, that's a cool thing. So we have that for some of them. There you go. You found it, Varl. Keebler's Dragon Magazine 36. Yeah. I knew there were Keebler elves in the Dragon Magazine that someone did as a spoof. So, Mike, tell me,
Yep.
you have any gnomes or halfling characters in your games, or is it a rarity?
Yeah, that's definitely a rarity. Maybe halflings would crop up time to time over the years, but in recent times, no one plays
human and elves mostly.
Small folk.
No dwarves.
No dwarves, time to time, okay. But most people will play humans in my campaigns because they know better that they have their advantages.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't even think of a single person who ever played a gnome in my campaigns. That's the sad part. They were NPCs often, but not a major. Definitely not the direction of a plot. Gnome culture, whatnot. They're more like if I was doing my wars, let's say back in 2E.
Right.
Call on the gnomes of the Flinny Hills or the gnomes of the Cron Hills to help out.
That's more War of the Rings scale, like Grand, which is cool. I would have loved to do that. I did it in the '80s before with the Keelan and the Sea Princes, but that was in the Monty Hall days. So I love it when people come to me asking, "Hey, can I play?" You all know I don't like the non-traditional races, right? Species, races, whatever term you like to use, please use it. But when someone comes to me like Darling and she has Rose the Apple Bottom and Phil Mafani, the Illusionist Thief Gnome, which we'll see him next Monday, it's gold, right? I just love it. I love that someone will take that up and play one of those characters.
Well, we often talk about halflings, but lots of times it's just in jest and nothing ever comes of it. Like my friends one time had very long discussions about doing a halfling food truck. The focus of the campaign is just them acquiring stuff for their culinary adventures, but it's not something we ever actually
That's cool.
out, but it was fun to talk about. And you mentioned Appleby on the map earlier. That was actually our naming convention for halflings, is take two restaurant names and combine them. So it could be like, Windy Appleby. So there you go.
Right. Yeah. So Anna, I'm assuming in your Shieldlands campaign it is mostly humans, right?
Oh yeah, mostly humans. Humans and orcs, half orcs. So yeah, plenty of those.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because of the Iusian influence, the old Horn society and stuff. But yeah, no elves, no half elves, no dwarves, no halflings, no. Yeah, so only humans and various humanoids and half humanoids, so to speak, like half orcs and others. So yeah.
Okay.
That one elf, and it's a fake one because it's a dragon who can take the shape of an elf. Yeah.
But that's I'm talking PC too, like your players.
Oh yeah. So no PCs. They're all humans.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my premise because I wanted to concentrate on that and stuff. So yeah. So I'm very strict in that it's up to the campaign, so to speak. What races or whatever you call them I allow is per campaign basis. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, might be an elven campaign, but all of them will be elves, half elves, or humans, and so on. And then, if I run an elven campaign, I might very well have gnomish characters and stuff built in. I would love to run a dwarven campaign in the future too. That would be cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do dwarven campaigns, and why I haven't is beyond me. Iron Gate would be the place to do it.
Yeah.
I like, you sit there and you'll watch the Lord of the Rings movies and you go, yeah, dwarves.
Yeah.
It never comes together.
Culture. I want to have a cultural depth to them in
GREYHAWK. There's a complete book of dwarves that came out in second edition. There was a complete book for all of them. I don't think that fueled us far enough to actually do it for some reason.
So that's why I'm not trying to toot my own freaking horn here, but that's why I love where Altamira is. Because I have an entire sub-campaign based on the low road of the dwarves in the Lortmill Mountains. Plus, I have Mike Disney trying to recover his ancestral keep, and we did the adventure when it got destroyed during the 24-hour stream. So we got a dwarven thing going on. Plus, Walt's got his has his dwarf Schlemmen has a control of Hearthguard Tower. So we have a dwarven connection to the lands here. We have an elven connection, a dwarven connection, a halfling connection, and even a little gnome. So and half orcs. I mean, my gosh, Korg's playing a half orc now, and a lot of my player characters, my guys have half orcs. How about you, Mike? Any half orcs?
Yeah.
Like
half orcs.
Lots of half orcs. Okay.
Especially in our Sea Princess campaigns, lots of half orcs.
Nice.
Have any one of you doubled with half hobgoblins and half goblins or something? Or is that a thing? Can they even do?
Oh, you mean human and hobgoblin?
Yeah, or whatever. Meaning, do they interbreed like orcs do, or is it just an orc human thing?
No, we got to remember the mongrels of the putrid tongue are an orc will breed with anything, just like it says in the monster manual. So you can have an orc hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Or the antithesis for the mongrels right now is an orc halfling.
Yeah, I have it that goblinoids are more distant. They are the evil version in a lot of ways. That they're half faith too, but they've gone evil, so to speak. The orcs are closer to humans in that sense. So I have it that they are less of they're less distant than the goblins, and the hobgoblins and others are more distant than from humans.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Darling,
so that's why the goblinoids are one type, and the various of them, so to speak. And yeah, sorry, go on.
That's okay. And Darling had a halfling during the 24-hour stream, a kick butt one.
I love her costume when she had her
oh yeah,
on and stuff at
Gary
Con. Oh, that was so cool.
Let me see it.
Yep.
I can find that picture.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It took me almost to the end of the con to realize that was Darling.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
she's
wow.
awesome. Yep. The tallest halfling ever. Yep.
I probably could find it real quick here.
Yep. It was so cool. Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I don't know if we'll top at this in 2025, but because the time frame it's shorter, and we're all going to feel squeezed now.
Oh, but on the other hand, we were tired when the convention actually started. Meaning,
so
I've gone
true.
on for like a week of conventioning when the convention actually started. This year, you will get there. You have a couple of days, and then damn, it's fun. So you can be. I think the energy can be higher in some sense at the end of it, because now you've had. Meaning, I've been been conventing for like over a week when the convention actually started.
There we go.
Yeah.
He played Rosie here.
I got sick when I got home, so that was a good part. So I waited until then. So yeah.
There we go. There
we
we
were
go.
short humans. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got Justinius here, and oh my gosh, what's his name in Discord? Oh, my brain shut off. Scythy here too. So they were the two opens with Eric Mona and the whole crew. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Lesson learned: don't volunteer too much. I'm going to give you. Josh isn't on. Don't volunteer.
I did. Yeah,
I know you did.
Yeah.
I know Curtis does and all of them. So
yeah.
It was so crazy. It was so crazy. But
yeah,
it's fun to have. Yeah. Rosie's standing on a box. I know Curtis. I wanted to get it. Because you know my thoughts. I'm there to enjoy myself, and if I, by DMing or whatever. No, it was too big. It was too big, Dale. That's probably why it's so hard at Gen Con. All right, so half orcs are like. Do you agree with me? Most half orcs are coming from almost anywhere. You have a campaign. You have a setting somewhere. They can come from almost anywhere because they don't have a home base. The only one that specifically says they welcome half orcs and 10% of the population is half orcs is where. I'm not talking about Spine Castle and places like that. I'm talking about civilized areas. Where is that? No one?
Hang on a second. Say Spine Castle civilized areas?
A civilized area that's 10% of the population is half orc.
Civilized areas. Hang on a second.
I'm showing it right now on the map.
I was going to go say Wild Coast. You have yeah. No, you have
right there, Harby.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's some
Harby.
Some areas. Yep.
Lots of orcs in the North Kingdom, but not many half orcs.
Bandit Kingdoms. Take an area like Stoink and
yep,
others.
Absolutely.
There you probably have There's like the Bandit Kingdoms. You have
lots. Absolutely.
Rook Roost and Stoink and other places like that. Probably have maybe even more. Yeah.
Yeah, Zeef even has royal guards that are half. Yeah, Zeef has embraced the half orcs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, a great point there, Will. 100%. They have too. All right. Beyond those, what else have you allowed a player character to be in your game?
Drow back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you? What's the nuttiest thing you've ever done?
Any ways?
Yeah, I mean something at GREYHAWK base. You're like, wow, I did that.
I had a fairy dragon character in one campaign.
Really, PC?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. It was kind of overpowered because it was second edition, but it was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
town where half orcs and halflings
Yeah.
west of the Hoel Marshes. I think it's 50-50. I recall Haven. Yes,
Bavarian.
you're correct. Whoops, you're correct. That Haven is in listed in the UK adventures. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think it's in a slightly wrong spot on the map.
I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff. I played in a campaign once. It was Savage Tide, and one of the players made a Hadozi.
Oh,
what is that?
That's the flying monkey man.
Oh.
Yeah, they were the ones that were in the center of a Wizard of the Coast debacle a
This is
year
third
ago.
edition, though.
Yeah.
So I can't remember where he pulled it from.
So for me, half ogre is about as exotic as I've gotten for a player character, right?
But that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and my guess is over 44 years, I'm going to say 6 to 7 half ogres, including Eric Boyd's, right? Who has half ogre in the 2 drink minimum. But then the Lord Mill Mountains always was filled with Arakocra, and the Best of the Dragon 3 article, I had that for the Wing Folk. So we play tested a PC Wing Folk and an NPC Wing Folk. And when I realized how imbalancing it made without having a flying character starting off at first level, that was that. I'm like, we can't have this. So I tried the Alcarec Elam. I know Gary Julian likes him a lot, but I tried. It just didn't work. Yeah, originally. What was part of Star Frontiers? Okay, the Flying Monkeys. Yeah. How does he come from Spelljammer? All right. Yeah.
Well, it was a ship, so I guess that makes it okay.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to think of. I had the modules, but my person killed for the Giants and Drow. So Drow, we have not had a new Drow PC for 15 years, because I've kind of tried to get the guys away from it. Almost had one in the new group, but it didn't work because the 2 new DJs, Case and Dessa, if one was going to play a Drow, then the other one would have to, because they were playing twins. I'm like, I think let's not go that direction. Let's go because you can't be bard. Oh, yeah, they're becoming bards. You can't be bards then in old school. If you're Drow, you have to be half elven and human. So they went half elven and it worked. So you have Goliaths.
Dwarfs couldn't be bards either.
Dwarves can't. It's only human or half elf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first campaign we had, the first GothCon. There was a story about one character who played a dwarf and he could become a bard, and everybody was like cheering at the convention because he made it to become bard. He was the first bard.
Goliaths from 5e. Well, yeah, in 5e, I prefer half ogres, but Goliaths work as well. All right, I'm going to ask it. How many of you have used Dragonborn?
I used them in my campain.
As player characters?
No, not as player characters, not yet. But I have them as a possibility. But I've taken inspiration from the 3rd edition real GREYHAWK Dragonborns, not the 5e Dragonborn. There is a Dragonborn in 3rd edition that is tied into Hieronymus, which is really, really cool. And that was the story behind the story that I have, that Hieronymus is the arch paladin, meaning Bahamut, and that ties into that story. So that was the really, really cool. Yeah. So you can become. That's when you be like a cultist of Bahamut, so to speak. Then you can be reborn as a kind of.
That wasn't from the Dragon Mountain box set, was it?
No, it was from one book of 3rd edition book.
Okay.
I forgot which one. Yeah, but it was one book of 3rd edition. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is a GREYHAWK connection to Dragonborn, but those are not the Dragonborn of 5e. No.
How many of you have played a character that got reincarnated into a humanoid or something else and had to play him?
We've had a few instances, but they've been corrected with wish spells, whatever it was later on. So yeah, 2 bards. Yeah.
Well, it's coming. It's coming next time. That the new group they don't have a name.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. A Dragonborn Paladin of Hexter?
Not of Hextor or Hieronymus.
No, that's what Dragon here. He said he has a Dragonborn Paladin, the Hextor. It's 5th edition. I'm assuming.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
The Draconic Empire of Lynn, the same place where Robler got his dragons. All right, got it.
But you can definitely do cool stuff with that in GREYHAWK too. You just have to tie it into the setting somehow. And
Right.
But Dragonborns that are just living in cities and like those are
Understood.
That's not, I don't like that part. Yeah.
Okay. I'm all open to everything here. I mean, we all know I have a bugbear and a goblin NPCs, right? And so it's fine. It's part of the game. It's part of the fun of the game. But PC wise, they've been lucky on reincarnates that they've always gone from one demi-human to another. We had someone who was a gnome and died, and they didn't have a resurrection, but they had a druid. No, they had a mage. Mage can cast reincarnate too. It was a mage, and they got reincarnated as a Sylvan elf.
I'm still working out how I want to, in my rules, how I want to work with resurrection and reincarnate and stuff. I have some basic ideas, but I still want to, there's just some tweaks, especially reincarnate is a kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of when you're dead permanently stuff. I don't like it.
No, my campaigns don't end when you can go on. I put life essences. So you have a soul, you have a spirit, and there's even dark souls that liches and stuff have. So that you can tie in. That's why you can have things like magic yar, you can possess, you can do all sorts of cool stuff. And that depends on what essence you have, so to speak.
I love witches.
Yep.
Oh, that's wrong, Curtis. You die and get reincarnated into a cowboy fan. Oh my gosh. That would be the worst thing ever. Hopefully Tino's not on. Wow. That is wrong. So, my suggestion to the audience is take a spot, make it of the map wherever your campaign is, make it your own. There's plenty of places. Say you are an Ernst person, okay? And you come here. All right, it's Soul, right? It's a Soul Iridian, right? Soul / Iridian, mostly here. But look what we have nearby. 3 dwarven mini kingdoms: Graysmere, Caracast, and Dumadan, all within a stone's throw.
Yep.
Easily incorporated into the setting there with the relationships, and
they need to be more developed too. They're underdeveloped.
A couple paragraphs. That's it. One Graysmere is in the GREYHAWK Free City GREYHAWK box set. Dumadan and Caracast are in From the Ashes, and that's it. A couple lines of each. But so my guys have characters that have come from these, looking for the dwarven axes of Varnafane. I've talked about that before. So that's. And
then you have Hargrek and Kukulend there too. Humanoid little layers up there too.
Absolutely, absolutely, you do. Then you have, but more importantly, you have the Doom Grinder right here, and then you have Curtis's favorite place on the map, Sour Load. Sorry, right, Curtis? There you go. Yeah, unfortunately is correct. So, as an example, then you also have the Selden Forest to the east. Elven opportunities. Guarantee you there's gnomes in the hills and the surrounding areas. So you have your full... What's up? Oh, yeah, I didn't realize you were at Gen Con there, Garner.
Hello. Awesome.
How's it going? Yeah, it sounds like it. I have to make a decision if I'm going to stay Sunday night this year or not at Gary Con in 2025. I got to make the decision. Good. That's great to hear. Yeah. Sourload and Juggernauts. That's a winning combination. He's unfortunately coming home tomorrow. That's awful to say about your dad, Tempest. That's not nice. But it's funny, but it's not nice. So, if you, all right, well, maybe you can convince me then. If you,
I don't want to convince you.
Yeah, I don't want to have that stupid. I'm sorry. Is Josh on? No pizza party, man. Let's do something. If I stay, let's go somewhere nice. Yeah. Okay.
We have the dog party at the dead dog party on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's pizza, right?
It's dead dog party. Yes, it's supposed to be pizza.
I'd rather go
I like pizza. Yeah.
Okay, but
it's
all
a
right.
dead dog party. It's the one of the
Curtis is
traditions.
enticing me right now. It's for something a little bit,
Yeah.
Because I go there and Josh looks at me. He's like, "You're not a volunteer." And I'm like, "Well, okay, so yeah, Chuck E. Cheese, unbelievable." All right, so Mike, what other suggestions do you have, man, for or just a general thought on our discussion here for humanoids or humans, demi-humans?
So the general thought is if you're doing a specific species plot setting, I think it would behoove you to have most of the party be of that the same set.
Yeah.
Just because it will get them more invested in the backstory, the culture, anything you're trying to drive. If you're trying to save Celine, it would be help if everyone's elves and have some skin in the game rather than be like, oh, well, I'm a dwarf, who cares about Celine?
Yeah,
thanks a lot, you're no help to this campaign. Stuff like that.
Got it.
Yeah, I think you should limit per campaign, but I'm very restrictive in each campaign, and then in another campaign I will be restricted in some other ways, so to speak. So
not that someone from outside Celine wouldn't step up and be a hero and help Celine. I'm just saying that you'd have to have fewer of those kind of conversations if most people are on board from the get-go.
Yeah.
I never want to tell a person what they can't do, but rather direct them to recommendations and
But for the purpose of this discussion, where we are saying, hey, we're going to do a campaign set in Iron Gate.
Yeah.
You don't you're supposed to have these conversations ahead of time, right?
That's true. Absolutely. That's what Session Zero is for.
Yeah. You set your campaign in the Iron Hills, and then nobody's a dwarf.
That makes sense.
Nobody's even a gnome. Wouldn't that be bad for the DM?
Or a hoblogger, right?
Yeah.
A hoblogger, yeah.
So you gotta have
something. I think a way you can deal with it as a DM is that provide pre-gens, create pre-gens, and then allow the players to, under your supervision, to tweak the pre-gen. But have a selection of pre-gens made that the players can choose from that have suitable backstories and are placed in the story already. That's how I've done for most of my games, and it's been that works well, because then the players have way more pre-gens created than there will be players, and because the players that the pre-gens that are taken becomes NPCs in your campaign. So you just you just create a whole bunch of NPCs, you set them up, and then you simply let the players choose among them and to play them, and the rest becomes NPCs, or they are spare character material in case a character dies. You can just let one of the players play one of the other ones that are already in the surrounding vicinity of the players, so to speak.
So I'm close to that, but not dead on to it.
Yeah.
So if anyone watched, and it's on Twitch, it's on YouTube from last Monday, my Session Zero for the new group, which they haven't named themselves yet. They're leaning toward the smokers because I made a joke, because they're all smoking pipe weed. And I'm like, you should name themselves after that stupid gang in Waterworld, So yeah, but what I do is I say to them, what are your thoughts on the character generation? What do you want to do? And so then Coco said to me, for example, I want to play a halfling. I'm thinking I wanted to have some healing ability, but I wanted to be a decent fighter. How about a fighter cleric, a multi-class? And so then we came up, and she gave this great name, Amaris Whiteclaw. And then I develop up all the stat rolls, hit points, gear, abilities with their input, and then do the portrait. And this is pre-experience from the last one, because we started at 4th, all right? And then that's how we come upon the character, and then we got a halfling character, and then we go here. This is Cases, and she's first time ever playing. Fighter 4, Thief 4. Now they went up to 5th Thieves, so now they're going to become bards. But yeah, all up half elf. So it's just done, and the character's done up. So it's very similar, Anna, except I give them they give me the input, and then I develop the character for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Well, yeah, I can often ask them, like, do you want to play a spellcaster, or do you want to play some warrior type or something, and then you can develop from there. Yeah. And I always make sure that there are different ones. There are some that are like, oh, you want to be a healer, a cleric type, or you want to be a warrior type, or you want to be so that you need to have, so not all of them are the same in that sense. You need to spread them out. So yeah.
So I told, well, in a way, they should name themselves something like the Anna Meyer Doctrine, because during one fight, no, this is true. Stronghold Tim had his paladin, Tim de Truly, fighting an owlbear. All the other characters, with the exception of the NPC, shot into melee combat. 4 of them. 3 of them hit him within 2 rounds of each other, hit him with sling bullets and arrows, and the one that was up top on the tower fumbled and shot himself. So, yeah. It was, oh my gosh!
Wow.
It was a record, darling. You got to watch it. They didn't care. They're just shooting like crazy at the melee combat. I'm like, yeah, it was funny. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Lots of crazy fumbles. Yep. So fun stuff.
Send in the fighters. Archers fire.
That's it.
That's a dick move. Yes.
Yeah. It reminds you of Braveheart. Won't we hit our own troops?
Yes,
we'll hit some of ours and some of theirs too. I think, oh gosh. Yeah. So that was a fun thing, but and I like the character development. So, all right. So as we close this off here, any questions from the audience for us? Once again, this is a nebulous discussion just to provoke thought. On what you'd like to see or do, or with your GREYHAWK. That's what we're always looking for. Don't split the party. Yeah, but some people can't help themselves, especially when you have this big wide tabletop. Oh, I can go over here. I can go over here and touch the force field, right? So that was, of course. Hey, I'm gonna let them do it. They want to, yeah. Skaven, no rat men. Now that doesn't mean, that's a good thought though. You could have someone infected with vampirism and be a were-rat. Oh, that could happen. Don't shoot into melee. Don't shoot the party. That's a good point. The paladin took a beating. His ass cheeks were gotta be sore, man, for all the arrows and sling bullets stuck in it. Oh my gosh! What's a good source for the Hateful Wars? Tommy John Kelly's writings, because beside that, it's the original glossography, and that's it. There's nothing else written. There's a little bit written in Living GREYHAWK LGG, Living GREYHAWK Journal, Living GREYHAWK Gazetteer. That's another place, right, Anna?
Yeah.
Hateful Wars. So here, right, the original glossography, or Tommy John Kelly. Let me link his whole page. There you go. So they're good places. Good question. So yeah, I just I think that it's a human dominated world, but I love the humanoids, the conflicts with the humanoids and demi-humans, and we've, since day one, we've been very half elven based in our game, and it's just always been that way. But a lot of dwarves too. All with 44 years, it's mostly a lot. I think gnome is the least. I think there's less gnomes than half orcs. Yeah. So, but it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to do. Anna, any closing thoughts here?
I think it's GREYHAWK is often described rightly as very human centric. I think it's rightly when it comes to the published products, because there's so much so much missing from the demi-humans and stuff and humanoids and so on. So I think it's a topic very rich for development that deserves you should dig into. We barely got into dwarves, and I think dwarves are super cool. You can do so much cool with dwarves, and you can do it with gnomes and even halflings. So you can do so much fun with them, both lore-wise, mechanically, and stuff. So it's really it's so much cool stuff you can dig into. So I think they all deserve way better attention and developed. So that's where the community can come in, because in published lore or published products we will get cookie cutter ones, and it's getting even more so than they are cartoonish cookie cutter, because that's the new wave of official D&D. But on the other hand, we have a lot of other game rule systems that you can take in inspiration from your Greyhawk too. So there's plenty of inspiration to go around, but it's something you can really go deep and you can go, meaning look at Tolkien, look at a bunch of others, what they did with various elves and dwarves and others, and you can develop parallel, you can steal wholesale ideas like Carl Sargent did, but I didn't like that much better. I want to have my elves being different, but in some ways similar. But and dwarves, I'm just beginning to look into dwarven culture that I kind of want to have, but it's fun and it makes the world a lot richer, so to speak.
Absolutely. And take your game, take tidbits of someone, take tidbits of Anna's ideas, mine's, Mike's, people in the audience, other publications, Will's book, Carlos's books, and build your own off of it, and no one will be upset with you. Everyone will be happy, by the way, that you're utilizing their information and throwing it into your campaign. I'm so like Von Mokel uses a lot of my stuff. It's humbling. Thank you. That's the ultimate compliment you can give someone is when you take their stuff and you utilize.
I put it out there as Creative Commons just so people can use it, so to speak. So I want it to be used.
So I know we got a decent amount of shout outs here. So we'll knock this off 10 minutes early here to do some shout outs. So we'll do the giveaway in shortly. 40 years of playtest is a good reason. Well, thank you. Well, hey, that doesn't. Thank you for the follow, Impulse. That doesn't mean that I'm 100% right all the time. I mean, I still argue with me about things. Also, I don't know if Tim's still on. He's like, wow, that was a trick, because I pulled the Eric Mona trick Saturday. If you remember when Venarian Void got away, there's an easy way especially on low level characters to get a bad guy to get away, and that is just quaff a gaseous form potion. There ain't no stopping them unless you have a gust of wind spell or something. So Junior got away, and man, the look on his face was priceless. But don't kill off your antitheses right off the bat. You got to build something with them. So lesson learned. All right, Mike, what's going on with you coming up?
Well, Gen Con's now over, which means the new player handbook should be out to the general public soon. That'll be fun to for me to maybe read up on them. Still not sold when I'm going to get it, but I am more looking forward to the DM's guide coming out later in the fall. That will definitely get the discussions going on it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just you can find me on the Discords any particular night to talk Greyhawk.
Sounds like Brandy may be coming to GaryCon next year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she's excited now, trying to sustain that to March. We'll see.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so.
Too.
I told her, I said there's a great cosplay competition.
Hey, I went with her to Gen Con last year, so maybe it's her turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Hero, that's one of the characters that I wish I had never killed off early on. I would have allowed him to stay around a lot longer. So, but I didn't. Well, Mike, thank you so very much for coming on and participating. And
Yeah.
we got some great topic ideas for Wednesday, and we'll see if we can figure out
Yes.
which one of those to do. I'll see if Gary can come on. So,
Yes.
yeah. But I really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks.
Yes, I'm into I'm two rods pieces of the rod of seven parts into this VecNet entry. So
Are you doing the box set one?
No, this is just the regular Eve of Ruin.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're doing the fifth edition. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, not the old classic rod of seven parts.
Okay.
No, this is 5e VecNet rod of seven parts.
Okay.
By the book.
Nice.
So far.
Cool. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Anna, what's up?
Well, the commission I'm starting to get into. Hopefully, the last week or 10 days of it. So it's getting close to be done. So now I've been the main part of other stuff. It's been ramping up, prepping for virtual GREYHAWK Con and Gamehole Con that I will run. So that's to get Hawk Tales ready for its first battle test, so to speak. So today I've gone over the skills and there have been some tweaks there, and almost the whole combat system is ready, and all this the necessary spell casting. I have some of the divine stuff. I've done the druidic stuff. Now I'm going to do the other divine stuff. That's where I have the biggest hole that I need to fill in the next few weeks. So I will try and do in a couple of weeks. I will do the first test with other people. Before I played with myself, and I've done a couple of players that we've done mock-up scenarios to test the combat system. But I want to do first kind of real play tests, so to speak, a real play test with people that haven't. So hopefully I can have like a skirmish alpha published within a couple of weeks. So in late August, early September, that's when I hope to have a first kind of skirmish alpha out of the stuff, and there will be some interesting news and tweaks a little bit. But it's D&D without classes, so that's and that I will post some stuff in between. And my Shieldlands project mapping is going really well. I will put that on hold during the week so I can do the commission and getting prep for the convention games going. So that's my main stuff. A couple of more heraldry to squeeze out there, and a couple of. I'm also thinking about doing these news bulletins about political updates and happenings in my campaign. I have some written up stuff that I want to
That's cool.
To publish. Yeah, because I thought about having Meyerhawk campaign updates, so to speak, and things that are happening in my campaign. So I'm going to. I just need to find the right format, the length, and the style, so I have a template so I can kind of fill it in with what's happening, because I have things that are happening in there. So that there's a lot of stuff, but there's so much to prep for that is coming later. So that means that I need to get it right and to basically make your own version of D&D is a heck of a lot of work, and I've worked on it for like 4 years. At first as just a house rule tweak, and I realized, no, go whole hog, and then you changed so much to tweak the rest too. So it's tough, but it's interesting and very rewarding, and there's some deep questions to start thinking about, so to speak. When you mess with one thing, then you mess with something else, and it's a rabbit hole to keep at it. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah. And I'm trying to do in a few years what Jay have done in 40 years, so in a few decades. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Said we've gone off on a ton of tangents, but it's been a blast.
Oh yeah,
it's been an absolute blast.
Thank you everybody I got a new patron today too. So so thank you everybody who puts up with my half absence, so to speak. But it's so we can have. I want to be able to run more often, run mini campaigns on an ongoing basis. That's why I want to have a rule system that supports my style of play, so I don't have to invent the wheel every time, and I can have stuff going, so to speak. So that's why I want to have a rule system that supports both play style and mechanically stuff. For instance, I want to have rules for travel happen between game sessions. So it's like should be a play by post kind of rule set for that part. Yeah. So the things like that I want to weave into the rule system. So I can run a campaign where you travel from one place to another between sessions. And then if there is an encounter happen, then we say, okay, now that's where we will start next session because we ran into trouble, so to speak. But a lot of the downtime and travel and stuff should be able to handle off session stuff, so to speak. So we can have the most fun bits when we actually have sessions. So I want to have stuff like that written into the rule set as well.
So
and high level play. But no, please go on. And also a gaming live stream next week. And I think that Linda will be back on Friday again.
Oh,
so
cool.
Yep. Yep.
All right. We're working on a topic for Wednesday. Mike gave us some good ones. I'm going to see if Gary is available, or maybe Sam or Sam. Secret societies is, I think, where I want to go.
Okay.
And the reason is that I have put in this new group I have one's an associate, one's a full member of the Seekers of the Arcane. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So it'll help me. So I think I'd like to go secret societies on that if I can get the right people in on it. That'll be it. But we got some other topic ideas that Mike gave us. So but that's the one I think I'd love to shoot
Mike
for.
is our savior when it comes
to
it comes
to
ideas.
Good ideas for Legend of War. I can handle Gabbin ones. I just can't. The Legend of War ones I have a lot of trouble with.
Yep.
So that's Wednesday. Thursday night, package to Oakvein. Those three, and I call them ceramic. I don't know if they were stone. They're ceramic cylinders, tablets with all the Earthland symbols on them. They find out that they're called the scrolls of making and unmaking, and they're ancient Earthland. So we'll see what happens, but this is like power that they should not have. So the headhunters decide to send a group to get to Oakvein and give them off to Clan Lefel of Oakvein and give them to them for safekeeping. But I got to get them there. So that's it's a one shot. And the reason is I can't do crazy. I was going to start Carlos's water-based adventure, and I realized I got two special games coming up right afterwards. This is our first time ever streaming this, by the way, and that is our Saturday morning. We usually have a GREYHAWK Kids game. Michael Zudrak's bringing his sons. Bill the Master Crafter's got his son. I got my son. The good old Gnarlyman and the Free City GREYHAWK and Elemental Storms. I'm going to stream it for the first time ever. All right, at 9 a.m. on Saturday. That'll be. We'll see where it'll be fun. It'll be fun when we're going to stream the game and just. It's probably going to be a lot less organized and there's going to be a lot of transiency because they're younger, but we'll give it a shot. And that's Saturday. We'll have our Gabbin on Sunday, but then next Monday, I got to start advertising this now. Is the big, really huge game where I got AJ Winters and Robert Hartley. They're touring the East Coast of the United States, and they will be here in person Monday night, the 12th. All right, they'll be playing in my basement in person as they tour the East Coast of the United States before they head over to the UK for a wedding. Joining them remotely will be Darling, Coco, and Korg. So it'll be a nuclear meat game, actually. And Bill Master Crafter will have his Ranger Mage, the one who got eaten by the bullet with a critical hit, and there was an elixir of life that saved him. Yeah, so Farron, he'll have that character. I may have one NPC, and that'll be the group. And remember, AJ and Robert already had characters. They've each played once. So that'll be the group on the 12th, and it'll be fun. Hints of the Past, Part 5. So we're going to find some more relics of the Hateful Wars, maybe. And that's what's going on. Amongst all the other stuff. All right? Awesome. Let's see who wins tonight. We got about 100 people, and we'll rate into Darling because she's on. Sound good? Last call. I have everyone's giveaways from the last dice, all that, and I know someone bought a T-shirt online that's all packed up, ready to go. Yep. Wait, WotC includes Florida? I don't know. Wait a minute.
We're talking about that.
Okay. All right. So here we go.
They're trying. Yep.
All right. I'm going to close this out. See who wins.
If they succeed, it's a different matter, but yeah.
Winner tonight for their choice.
Ooh.
Celtic Boar. Oh, that's a nice cover. That's a high-end cover art, right? That's not the base one.
Yeah, it's the
that's
the
nice.
fancy one. Yeah.
Celtic Boar. Grats. Let's make sure
Yeah.
Celtic Boar is still on. Yeah, he's on. I see him. You got it, Celtic. So let's get together and figure out what we need. They're going out in the mail tomorrow. So if you can tell me, I got G1 through 3. I got a City GREYHAWK, Adventure Begins, Vecna Lives, Treasures, Marklands, G1 through 3. Just a lot. S4, got a ton of stuff. Thanks, Patrick, for that. All right, let's raid the Darling, and look at that, 902. Almost an on-time finish for once. Thank you all for some great support tonight, and thank you. I was shocked how many people were on yesterday watching. I really appreciated it.
Awesome.
I know the new players did too. They really appreciated you all participating in the game, and the two DJs are like, "Oh my gosh, the interaction with the community is great," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's what makes this community so special." So I really appreciate it. Thank you. So all right. So yeah, send me a Discord there, Celtic, and see you all soon. Mike, thank you so very much.
Yep.
Bye, and Anna, thank you, and we'll see you. Wrong button's coming. All right. Da-na-na-na. Awesome. All right, let's get this in. See if we can get like over 85 would be awesome. Yeah, look at that. 91. Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you Wednesday night. Everyone have a good one. All right. Let me shut this off. Thank you.